So welcome to the CricBlog Podcast IPL teams preview. Where we'll be looking in this segment at Rajasthan Royals, a team that has made some changes both in its playing squad and upstairs, with Kumar Sangakkara joining the franchise as a director of cricket. I think for me, the Royals, they've been, well, since their first title, or the inaugural tournament in 2008, they've been disappointing. They were close last season, as every other team was that missed out on the playoffs. I think this season they might be quite competitive. That's the initial feeling I get with them. What do you think about the Royals, and what do you think their playing 11 could be to start with?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really difficult, especially with the selection this time, because they do have a lot of options available. Even though Archer's not playing anymore, at least in the first half of the season, they do have someone like Mustafizur Rahman to back him up. They have someone like AJ Ty, but neither of those are in my starting 11. So what I have started with is Samson, Butler to open at 1 and 2, Stokes at number 3, David Miller at number 4. So those are my three overseas option. Shivam Dubey at number 5, Riyan Parag at number 6, Rahul Tewatia at number 7, Chris Morris at number 8. So that's my 4 overseas players done. Shreyas Gopal at number 9, Jaydev Unadkat at number 10, and then I really, really want to see Karthik Tyagi in this side playing. So here I have him at number 11. Having said that, if they want to play someone like Mustafizur Rahman, then I think, unfortunately, David Miller has to sit out. I think because you can't drop Butler, Stokes, and Chris Morris. I don't think with that price tag, Chris Morris will be dropped. So unfortunately, David Miller, as much as I love him as a batsman, he has to sit out if Mustafizur Rahman is to play. And then they can add one more batsman, and then probably drop someone like Shreyas Gopal, because they already have Rahul Tewatia and Riyan Parag as those leg spinning options. So it's really they have those options. It's a good headache to have. I would say, as I've said multiple times on this podcast, that it's a good headache to have if you have selection problems where you have more resources in your squad. So, but yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what your playing 11 is.
Yeah, I think top 3, very important for the Royals. I think I would open with Samson and Butler, like you've done, and I also have Stokes at 3. I think that's the lowest position you should have for Stokes. You don't want to bat him lower than that. What he showed in India when he's batting higher up the order, he could be so damaging there. There's also a case to even open with him. Mm-hmm. You can have Butler and Stokes open, which would be incredible, and then Samson at 3. So they've got that option there. But I think that'll be the top 3. I'd have Shivam Dubey at 4. I think Kumar Sangakkara really likes the look of Dubey coming in before the death overs, batting in the middle against spin. I think that's how they'll use Dubey this season. Riyan Parag, Rahul Tewatia at 6.
Yep.
Chris Morris at 7. Shreyas Gopal at 8. I would even really consider, with the absence of Jofra Archer, playing Andrew Tye. I think in the Big Bash we saw him with his pace really up, touching 140s, even going over 140s. And he's a good exponent of the Yorker at the death. I think that's where he needs to, if he can get that aspect of his game right, he'll see game time for the Royals this season. Then I'd have Karthik Tyagi.
Yep.
Then I'll also have, I think it's Chetan Sakaria.
Yes.
He's a good up-and-coming seam bowler who was absolutely outstanding in the Indian T20 domestic tournament. I had a look at his stats. He took like five wickets for 11, 2 for 13, 2 for 31, 2 for 22. Like he's got a lot of wicket-taking ability, and I think we can see him get an opportunity this season, especially if Rajasthan don't want to try Jaydev Unadkat straight away, where he's had troubles in the past. So for me, I quite like the look of that 11. I think they spend an arm and a leg for Chris Morris, but he brings important balance to that side and really helps them at the death, especially when Jofra Archer isn't there.
Definitely. I absolutely agree with you, and on Chris Morris especially. And Well, I only have Unadkat in my playing 11 because he's the safer option, isn't he?
Is he?
I mean, in terms of an Indian option,
Experience, I guess.
yeah, experience, and then you can play someone like David Miller in the batting department if someone like Jaydev Unadkat plays in the bowling department, because he gives that you don't have to play AJ Tah in there, because then you can add your foreign player in the batting department. So I think that's really important to have Miller, Stokes,
Yeah,
and Butler in that batting
possibly.
department.
Yeah.
So it's
I,
again, it's a good headache to have with these many good options to select from. So yeah, as you said, it might all end up um, really horribly wrong for Rajasthan Royals if someone like Jaydev Unadkat doesn't perform, and as we have seen before. So it's really difficult to predict with Rajasthan Royals, because it's really up and down with them, isn't it? And with having said that, I want to say I'll say they'll finish sixth this season.
so what do you think their major weaknesses are in terms of
Yeah, I mean,
finishing down there?
coming to the weaknesses, I think they all have to click at the same time, which they haven't done. I think one performs and then another one doesn't, and it's a team sport, isn't it? As cliche as it may sound, it's a team sport, and you have to click at the same time, and that's the same thing that hasn't happened with RCB as well. Here you got Samson, who's the new captain. You got Butler, you got Stokes. Those three have to play big innings. Two of those three have to go big this time.
Yeah.
And then backed up by Chris Morris and Rahul Tewatia down the order, and also in the bowling department, it will be really key for all those 5 or 6 major players to perform to the best of their ability together in one match. In it, do so regularly for the entire season, and I think they'll be good. But I don't see that happening this season. That's the issue. I don't see that
Fair enough.
happening. I see Chris Morris getting injured. I'm calling it early.
I
Uh,
hope not. Yeah.
yeah, it's really harsh, but um, he's we have had issues with him in the previous
Yeah.
seasons, and it's just that the way his fitness is, or I don't know, his body is, but he gets injured easily. So yeah, it's just time will tell. But I think that those are the weaknesses, that they don't click together.
Mm. I think a lot depends on, how quickly Archer can return. I think he's missing the
Yeah.
first 4 games from memory. I don't know. Yeah, don't know how true that is, but I don't think it's quite the first half of the season he's missing. So he's going to be crucial when he comes back. I think you're right. The fitness of Morris is very important. But if we assume that Archer comes back after 4 games and Morris can maintain his fitness, I see Rajasthan Royals doing quite well.
Yeah.
I think with Kumar Sangakkara at the helm, I think they had a good auction. And I think I love their top 3, and I think they've got ability there in the middle order where they can be quite flexible with who they bat where. Someone like Morris and Tawacha, those sort of players can really send the ball a long way.
Yeah.
They've got balance in their bowling attack, but it just depends on how well they can deal with that Archer early in the season, because
Definitely.
I quite like them this season. I think they can make the playoffs. I think they can sneak into 4th.
Okay, big call.
Again, it's a big call, but I like to look at a team's bowling lineup and what they can achieve.
Yeah.
And I think with Kartik Tyagi, he's got the ability to hit a Yorker at the death as well. If Andrew Ty or whoever comes in as
Even
a replacement
Stokes,
for Archer,
even someone like
even Stokes is in wonderful form. They've got a lot of danger players, and if they're enabled to perform well, they can do very well. So
it also comes down. It also comes down to the captaincy, doesn't it? Because we have a new captain, young captain,
who has played. Yeah, too.
Who has to manage players like Stokes, Butler, and Chris Morris in his squad. So it's really important to see what he does as a captain. So yeah, that's another reason why I don't have them in the playoffs. It's because we still don't know how Sanju Samson goes as a captain.
That's true as well. There's a few little uncertainties with Rajasthan Royals.
So yeah, I mean that's about it for me from Rajasthan Royals department, because yeah, I don't have high hopes for them.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think they can do well. I think with Archer there coming back, and if you can have a combination with Morris, I think they're better suited. I think they're well equipped to perform at the death compared to a lot of other teams, and I think that could prove very, very crucial in the final analysis. I think it's, as you say, it's a big season for Sanju Samson as a captain, but it's also a really big season for him as a batsman.
Yes.
He's always been on the cusp of doing something special in IPL, 300 runs, 350 runs, thereabouts. Can you go up and get 500 plus? If you can do that this time around, he's the leader of that team now. He's got to lead by example, not only as a captain, but also as the batsman.
Yep. And for all we know, Rajasthan Royals, we could be finishing at the top, winning the IPL, and then I get trolled on Twitter by Rajasthan Royals admin. So I don't know. I mean, that's a very high.
Look, the thing is, the thing with every team, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I've said RCB will finish down towards the bottom, but they could surprise. It wouldn't surprise me if, because of the back of their strong batting, that they have a great season. But I think I always like to look at a bowling lineup. What are your bowlers like? Can they win you games?
Yeah.
If they can, you'll finish up there towards the top because, your bowling attack is able to keep other teams quiet.
Definitely.
And if teams like SRH and Rajasthan can keep a team like RCB's batting quiet, how are RCB going to win a game?
Yeah, true.
Or how are RCB going to win matches off their bowling attack? That's where my thinking is. I try to use as much logic as I can. Sometimes it's not going to come off, but that's the beauty of IPL, right? You've got a lot of teams who can beat the other on their day and sneak into the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's our roundup of the Royals. So I've got them sneaking into 4th. Nash has got them in 6th. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how they go. One thing I will say before we finish is someone like Manan Vohra. He's been in good touch in Indian domestic cricket as well. He could be someone that they could use to open the batting as well down the track. So they've got options there in their squad, and they're a team to watch out for, I reckon. So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, perfect.
So that's our roundup of the Royals. We'll see where they finish this season. Stay tuned for our next video coming up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.